August 15th, the carnival was over. A quarter mile off the shore sat Calliope Rock. It was known for being a natural honeycomb. The holes created by eons of water and wind blasting through stone to become a twist-teased monolith. The wind blowing through it at times created a natural, eerie music. A macabre symphony for those who ventured near its edifices. However, time and tides continued to take its toll, and in 1957, the California Register of Historical Resources granted the landmark status, with the federal government doing the same a year later. As a result of this, despite the fact that the rock had a flat plain large enough to accommodate campsites easily, both governments, along with the county of San Luis Obispo and the town of Cambria, declared Calliope Rock off limits within a 10-yard area. Right now, someone sat on the flat plain, crying her eyes out. Sunset sat on the rock, ignoring the last hours of night. Her heart was broken, and there was nothing that could fix it. Her sister hated her. Soon, so would her whole family. She had no reason or means to stay here. Sure, she could easily return to her both world, but that wasn't home anymore. Home, assuming it still was 6 miles to the north, or 6 hours to the north. Random waves sprayed Sunset with salt water. She was already soaked to the bone, but she didn't care. She just curled up closer, holding herself, begging for it to end. She wanted to go home. She wanted her mother's embrace, for her father to tell her everything would be okay. But she knew it wouldn't be. Nothing would be the same again. Sitting on the balcony, Twilight watched the ocean as her namesake occurred in the opposite direction. The blue hour coated the world in azure light, and because this was California, the sky was its usual unspeakably beautiful hue. Right now, all she could think of was the person she destroyed. Was any of it real? And did I have the right to do that? I owe her my life. Literally. Twilight's eyes were already red from crying. She had a broken heart, and that wasn't going to go away anytime soon. She begged Octavia not to call her parents and let them know what was happening. 20 minutes later, he had been Fluttershy who came pucked down on behalf of Octavia and said he would wait until the end of the day. After all, Sunset was still minor still, and with her gone, it meant technically they needed to call the Sarah's department, and given the proximity to the ocean. Sunset's heart stopped. She wouldn't, would she? The answer came back, mocking and angry, as if it wasn't a part of her, but something else. You mean like you forced her to? Disowning her own sister? An image of a dead body, blood from having drowned in the ocean. Stranded gold strands of hair pushed listlessly by lapping waves pushed her mind. Sonny! Twilight tripped over the lounge chair and came to a crashing halt on the deck. Just in time to see a pair of baby blue flip-flops come to a stop right in front of her. She didn't need to look up to know who it was. Only one person she knew would go to the effort of painting balloons on her toenails. She looked up anyway. Pinky, sorry, she said, holding a plate of pancakes, scrambled eggs, toasted sausage in one hand, and a non-alcoholic mimosa on the other. Can't hear over the sound of fuck you right now, Sparkle. She set the stuff on the table and plopped to the seat next to said table. Excuse me, I need to eat. Since I didn't get sleep, I need something to go power from me for a long, hard-filled day of looking for your sis. Oh, excuse me, I forgot. You just own her, right? I'm sorry, I meant my friend. And so she thoughts across her face and added, you know, I don't think I had my pill yesterday. Gonna be a fucked up day for me, I guess. You almost forgot your other one, too. The door opened again, and out came Rainbow, with much the same that Pinky had, only in this of a translucent pink pill container. Fortunately for you, I know what loyalty is. Oh, thanks, Daddy. Pinky chirped as she brought the box. Pinky, your hair's starting to straighten a little. You okay? Rainbow asked while she speared a sausage. Of course I'm not. That girl I love just got broken by her supposed sister. None of you will let me go cupcakes on her. So never let you know that direct film will be filmed, I swear. Rainbow said between chews. Didn't even look realistic. The blood, I mean. At least Rainbow factoring us better, even if a little weird in that fancy horror film way. Piggy replied, swallowing a gray-blue capsule before washing it down with some orange juice. So, what brings you out here? Didn't want you to eat alone. Rainbow looked over his shoulder, saw Twilight there, still on the ground, looking at her with regrets. Well, technically not alone, but you get what I mean. Yeah, that I do. I owe you one, Rainbow. Don't mean anything, Pinks. That's what being family's about. Because we're the only two here who knows about that, right? Twilight picked herself off the floor. Okay, I get it, Rainbow. You're pissed at me. Pissed doesn't even begin to cover it, Sparkle. You pissed on the one person you should have been there for. You showed no loyalty to your family. Rainbow got out of her chair, walked over to Twilight. A door in fractions of inches between Twilight's fear-faced ass and Rainbow's furious sculptured one. The little girl who gave a big fucking speech about how friendship was magic couldn't wait to shit on the one person who needed her more than anything. You know, I found out from your mom back on your birthday that you're Hispanic. You don't look it. I guess it is right as rare as eating your cousin or Pinky. I'm part Cherokee, if I recall correctly, Pinky said in a matter-of-fact tone. Rainbow didn't stop, instead of jabbing a finger to Twilight's chest. I'm not the biggest one being Hispanic at all, but frankly, you make me sick to be part of La Raza if it means anything to you. She snarled. Latinos are supposed to be a lookout for family. It's fucking bred into us, you goddamn tool. And now you have a sister that needed you? Rainbow walked over and picked up her fork, jamming in the pancakes hard enough for the tines to audibly scrape the plate. You couldn't wait to break her, just because you didn't really understand her. You said part of you grew up because you learned friendship for us. Looks like you didn't learn jack shit. Rainbow stormed out the balcony, back into the house. Pinky looked at Rainbow with a forlorn look, then back to her food. You're not gonna say anything, Pinky? Twilight asked. No, I had to eat. Then get back out there to look for Sunny. That should be enough of a statement, she said. I'll keep doing it until I find her, or collapse. Now get the fuck out here. You're ruining my breakfast. Twilight walked into the house and downstairs. As the reception she received upstairs was bad, the rest of it was worse. Seated downstairs at the table, eating was Fluttershy, Rarity, and Applejack, talking and laughter. The laughter gave way to glares the moment Twilight finished ascending the stairs. I think I'm done, Rarity said. My apologies for all, but my appetite just went south. Well, yeah, I think I need to get out here as well, Applejack said as he stood. I need to get out of this hellhole. No face flares. Fluttershy said nothing, instead staring at one very uncomfortable Twilight. Twilight finally looked away, and the chiffon girl glared at Rarity. We should probably get started on our search again. She then looked at our TV with a apologetic look. Sorry that you need to be here to clean things up, Toffee. Octavia sat on the couch, eating, looking at what appeared to be a local map. No problem, she said between bites. Keep in touch, okay? I'm already delaying contacting the authorities in case this isn't anything major, but the longer this goes on, we know, the four girls said as one. Twilight looked at her cousin. Toffee, speak to me. No time, Octavia said, almost to herself. I need to find out where my cousin has gone, to let her know that she has some family left, that she's not alone. Toffee, Octavia threw her plate at her cousin, and Twilight was lucky the plate was plastic. You stupid bitch! Octavia warned. Your sister's missing, and you're still on the where is me line of shit! How dare you! How dare me? Yes, how dare you! Twilight turned to look at Pinky, and her hair was expressively straight. Her eyes were hard sapphires, and there was no trace of the happy-go-lucky girl Twilight usually knew. You broke your sister! Never mind how I or anyone else feels about her. You broke the one person who needed you. Pinky saw them with Twilight as she flinched back. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't hurt you. You're not a martial artist? Twilight said, wincing. Cheerleaders require dance, and dance is only a martial art. What makes you think I haven't taken anything besides just dance? I may not be up to as AJ, Pinky seized. Pinky, please, back off the Batman. Get back out there, Octavia told her. She deserves it. No, and every minute we waste here is a minute closer to us finding a corpse. That caught Pinky's attention. Twilight is my problem, Pinky. Please, go find my cousin. Pinky didn't need further prodding and rushed out the door. Twilight collapsed in a heap. She was really going to hit me, wasn't she? She stomped you just a few hours ago, Twilight. Or did you forget that? Octavia sighed. You have no idea how much you've fucked up, do you? You weren't there. You didn't hear what I heard, Twilight said. Do you think I wanted all this? You tell me. This is all you're doing, Twilight. This is what you've wrought. Yes, Sunny probably lied to us about a few things, but I maintain he's afraid of something. Something that would make any kind of lie permissible. What did she tell you last night? She didn't tell me anything. Twilight let herself be led to the couch, while Octavia went on to get some breakfast for her. I heard her leave the bungalow, so I followed her, because I wanted to make up with her. Instead, I heard her talking to someone else and telling her everything. Twilight looked at her cousin. She's not an orphan. Her mother is still alive and out there, and Sunset not only knows that, but has met with her during this past year. Octavia's face was passive. Go on. She told this other girl that she loves her mother, and she's torn between going back and staying with us. That's not someone who's afraid. Twilight took the plate and drank as Octavia handed to her. I didn't want to believe it, but she's so calm about it. So plain-spoken, it has to be true. Octavia sat next to her cousin and was silent the entire time Twilight ate breakfast. Finally, when Twilight was finished, Octavia said, Twilight, you really have no idea of the damage you've done, do you? The girls are furious with you to the point they wanted to toss you out. I told them that finding Sunny was more important. And as for this other person, do you know who she is? Twilight shook her head. No, she didn't look familiar at all. Why? Then why do you think Sunset would tell a stranger her life story? We are a family, and she doesn't tell us much. I bet the girls don't know much more than we. So what makes you think she would open up to a stranger? Twilight tried to answer the question, but she couldn't. Found herself staring slack-jawed at her cousin. That's right. You don't have proof. Octavia looked at her cousin. Do you remember the weekend we were in Riverdale, just before Sunny came into our lives? Twilight nodded lightly. Remember that guy who kept staring at our chests? What was his name? Jeffrey Mantle? Guy wasn't the richest kid in town, so he could have one or both of us in bed just because he looked at us. Twilight blushed. I'd rather not remember. I do. You know why? Because I messed with his head. I told him that he wanted me. He had to go skinny dipping in Lake Riverside, right? That's what I wanted to be loved by midnight. But we were on the way home around that time. Octavia nodded. Yep. He took a skinny dipping trip right around the place where the local Girl Scout troops were having a camping trip. She laughed. I fed him what he wanted to hear. Because he wanted to hear it. And I'm not the one with the person handling technique Sunny has. Yes, we know Sunny's lied to us. From what the girls say, her manipulation skills are legendary. But she's never let us down, Twilight, and I don't believe she's ever manipulated us either. I know you want her to tell you everything. I want her to as well. But what if she's doing this for a reason? I remember what you said last night. That maybe we should worry about what she's hiding. Maybe we should. Octavia then said sadly, well, that's the truth. Sunny needs to worry more about what's going to happen to her first. Then you push her out of the metaphorical plane with our suit. The older teen sighed. Normally, this is probably the part where we hold each other and cry about it until we feel better. Let's go hopping this time. Someone out there is your sister, our family, and she's been missing long enough that we should be very worried. But I'm not going to straight your gate, Twilight. Not in the least. You need to learn the horses and lessons, because what may come might just be the death of someone. I really hope it isn't the death of someone we love. Elsewhere, the siren looked at her scream repeatedly. The look on her face was another bevelment. Chief, we need your eyes for a sec. The intel chief looked over and shouldered the siren on the monitor. Okay, what we got? Remember, this info's due to the captain in 10 minutes. Yeah, but none of this makes sense. We have records of Princess Solaire being at these 3 locations. The siren pointed out to a trio of far-flung sites on Google Maps. But mainly here, at her family's house, and here at a townhouse in Daybreak District. Maybe she's got someone she's sleeping with, the chief asserted. Every woman's got needs, you know. She had a kid. The kid had to come from somewhere after all, am I right? Which leads to the other weird thing. According to her cell phone logs, Princess Sunset has sat in her room at their family compound for the past few days. But about an hour ago, she apparently used her credit card down south, near San Luis Obispo. The chief had a confused look. Stolen card? No, it doesn't fit the profile. Plus, per our systems, the card's been active long enough that there's no chance it's faked. But if her phone's here in Camelot... From the other side of the room, another siren called out. Got a phone hit. Sunset Simmer's phone. Triangulated to the Cranlock location. 2 texts sent to friends in Paris. So you want me, Chief? Makes no goddamn sense. The phone suddenly rang out, and all eyes looked at the cell phone on Chief's desk. They knew was the signal, but not what they wanted. The Chief went over to the phone anyway. Intel office! The phone was silent for a few seconds, while he listened to what he knew was to come. Finally, he spoke. Captain, we can send it down, but we have some discrepancies in the information we really can't understand. More silence. Sure, I'll be right over. The Chief hung up the phone and said, transmit the whole package to the OPS office. I'm going to be there to speak to the captain in XO. She looked at the clock on the wall. Lieutenant Storms to be there in a few minutes. When she is, ask her to join us in the OPS office. I have a feeling she's going to want to hear this as well. Sure thing, Miss Sunlight Twinkle, the woman said, looking at the debit card. Staying with us the whole weekend? Just until I sort some things out, Sunset said. At the moment, she had a smile on her face she didn't feel, combined with a glamoury that made her look like a composite of Lyra and Trixie. The debit card was also fake, though the magnetic strip on the back would allow it to connect it to her actual bank account. The woman looked at Sunlight and gave her a sympathetic look. Boyfriend troubles? Sunset was about to speak when the woman laughed. You're not the one who left Tropicana to head up here for a cooling head. Happens all the time. Don't worry, I'm sure your beau will change his mind. You go rest yourself while I let him come to his senses. It'll happen. Thank you, Sunset said, taking the key. She felt drained and didn't want to dump down the woman, given she probably heard more than enough sob stories in her lifetime. As it was, Sunset just wanted to get to the bedroom and sleep for a few hours, and she was lucky wouldn't have to dream. Dreams meant nightmares, after all. She lay down to bed, feeling the rest of her strength drain out of her. Her eyelids were like blast doors. Her body felt numb. And not just because she was a bit cold for sitting all night on Cowboy Rock. It's because she was empty. Because there was nothing left. I want to go home. But which home? Returning to Equestria will worry her friends and admit defeat. This was her home now. But did she still have a home here? She didn't want to start over. She had people she loved, a family, a sister she still loved, and a cousin that was like a sister as well, an older brother, sort of, that she looked up to, and a younger brother who wasn't bad when he wasn't bad, parents she respected, a sister-in-law to be that she admired, and all that could be gone now. She wanted to hope, to believe that she still had a home and loved ones. But when she saw them, all she could think of was the rage and hatred in Twilight's eyes. The younger sister that she loved so dearly turned completely against her, filled with a fury no world could turn aside. Get the fuck out! Sunset heard as her sister slapped her. I never want to see you again, you lying bitch! Sunset reached towards the air, towards the memory haunting her mind, wanting to hold Twilight and never let her go. To hold her and say how sorry she was for everything, and she had a good reason, but never wanted to hurt anyone. And yet, all she could see was the hatred in her sister's eyes. For the first time in nearly a year, Sunset Simmer was afraid of a member of her own family, the repercussions of her actions. And for the first time in nearly a year, Sunset Simmer cried herself to sleep. Meanwhile, you look like you could use some excitement, Zephyr Breeze said to Sunset Simmer. How about we all go out for a bit? You're just looking for another excuse to flirt with my mother, Sunset Breeze. Sunset Breeze, Simmer said with a grin. Aren't you married? Quite happily, I'm at Ed, he said with a bow. But your mother's an acceptable woman, and if I were single, he shrugged. This is the part where I become a typical teenager and roll my eyes, Simmer groaned. Oh, but you do that enough, mon petit to the sub. Both went to see Solaire, coming out of camisole and shorts. It was the most casual Simmer had ever seen her mother dressed before, and she knew why. I think you wouldn't want that for the remainder of your life. Yes, Mother, Simmer snarked naturedly. She knew nothing would come of it, and her mother was feeling like a girl again, so why let the situation go for waste? So, you said you had plans for us today, Sophia? Solaire asked him. Was she blushing? She hoped she wasn't blushing. I thought we could go out and see some of the sights in Horseshoe Bay. I have plenty of time before I need to catch my flight back. Solaire paused. Flight back? He nodded, surprisingly sober about it. Yeah, he admitted, scratching the back of his head. With Saffron dead, I need to report back to base to give some complete report. Someone will be here this afternoon to replace me. Replace? Slaughter asked, a surprised look at her voice. No, I did not ask for a replacement. I don't want a replacement. Simmer looked at her mother, then at Saphir. I don't fucking believe this, she mentally groaned, her face swelling. Look, Sully, it's not. But Seth, I don't. Get a room, you two! Simmer groaned. The two adults slowly looked at each other, then paused before awkwardly laughing. I suppose I can't do any, Seth. Slayer apologies. My apologies. It's okay, Sully, Saphir replied. I love my wife, but things haven't been going very well for us, he groaned. Probably shouldn't have known you, but she's thinking about leaving me. Slayer reached over and touched his face. Why would she? I'd rather not talk about that, he told her, taking his hand in hers. I'll go get the car ready. You two meet me outside when you're ready. Simmer looked at the man go, then her mother. You know he's married, right? Slayer looked away from her daughter. I would rather not set a bad example for you, Sunset. Mom, I'm practically an adult. Just because I had a relationship that turned sour doesn't mean, yes, you had a relationship that went bad to the soul, but that's not as bad as being the other woman. Slayer looked at where Saphir had been, where she would not soon be. I need to change to do something a little more benefiting in my season. Please inform me please I'll be there shortly. Slayer walked silently towards her bedroom. Simmer walked outside to find Saphir talking to someone on his phone, a sad look on his face. Look out! Please don't set me out. The my children do. He told her son, okay, you win. I'll sign the damn papers. Look, I've got to get back to work. We can talk when we get home. Hopefully you and the kids will still be there too. Bye. He looked out to see Simmer standing there. Something wrong, Ancient Belize? You're too young for this kind of shit, kid, Saphir told her. You already saw my partner go down. Go back to your room and pick up your copy of Team B or whatever it is you kids do nowadays. Stay innocent while the world will still let you. I lost my innocence when I grew up without a father, Simmer reminded him. Yeah, if my wants to be ex-wife has her way, so do my kids, he told her. You ever heard of an actress known as Paradise? A bit. She's on New Orleans PD, right? If I recall correctly, she redubs her own parts for the French version. Yeah, that's her. And she's my wife. She's always been a bit of an actress. And well, you know what I do for a living. It's that her star's rising, and my star's really going nowhere. And now she has a chance to really make a name for herself. Huge sci-fi film they're filming down in Florida. Well, so she can move down to New Orleans year-round, instead of just the 2 months of new location filming. Also means she wants to fill the paperwork, which I shouldn't be surprised. Paperwork? Look, when Mommy and Daddy really love each other, they have babies. When Mommy and Daddy really don't love each other anymore, they got divorce papers. Because it shouldn't be too surprised. This is a movie she made 2 years ago with Dusky Hoff. They stayed on set in Hawaii 2 weeks longer after filming with it. And shortly after that, Hoff split his wife. My fault for not paying attention to my marriage. Sarah was about to open her mouth when he added, Don't say anything, kid. I knew it wasn't my fault. Who wants to take her panties off that bad, she'll do it. But it's my fault because my job's taking me away from the kids so damn often. It means that Paradise is not able to build a case for sole custody based on that. I'm sorry. Don't be. Paradise is a good woman. It just didn't work out. Sometimes that happens, and that sucks, but that's how it goes. He went to the door to see Solaire coming out, dressed slightly more conservatively. Come on, let's go live life. Meanwhile, Adagio stood outside of Modesto Grasslands compounds, looking at the cars. No one was matched at any of their friends. She kept a hand on her sidearm, which was loosely tucked under her shirt. It wouldn't be enough to stop the mutated sirens, well, not enough to give her the element of surprise long enough to break out the importing gear. Just looked around the entire compound, Arya said, chalking up to her older sister. I didn't see height or hair of them. Either they're not here right now, or they didn't come here at all. Could they be at home after all? Adagio asked, worry creeping in her voice. We're all planning to come. But something could have come up because of cancellation. We'll see what we could do to trace Sunny's phone, the younger girl suggested. I hope Sunny took the time to put tracers on the other phones. Don't worry, I can triangulate. Sanaa, also having done a round of the campgrounds, jogged up to them. Without further ado, she reached over, grabbed the laptop out of the back. Cover me, I'm going climbing. She pointed at the cell tires that's over the hill. You crazy! Look, they get their hands on Sunny, it won't matter if I'm crazy or not. Sanaa shouted at her older sister. We need to find her and save her. Nothing else matters. Before either sister could stop her, not that either was inclined after that discussion, she crumbled up the cell tower until she was amongst its antennae, then plugged into the maintenance terminal at the top. It was going to take a few minutes to search for her phone. By the way, those people that climb cell phone towers don't get paid enough. But since his phone was on, the program Sanaa would be able to track her phone anywhere in the world. A second later, she had a hit. Thanks, Google. She thought to herself as she started her descent. A second later, she joined her sisters. Start the car. She told them, we gotta get going, and we gotta get going fast. What's going on? Adazio asked as the three got into a car. Got a ping on Sunset's phone. It's 4 hours south of here. Susan held up her laptop, saw the Android device manager website. I guarantee if I can find Sunny's phone, then they already know where she is. Don't have to tell me twice then, Adazio said as he turned on the ignition. Ursula, explain to me once more, Katana said, a headache building, because I have a hard time believing my intelligence staff is incompetent. At the moment, Katana was with several of her trusted senior officers, Define and Chief Shatter. There was a palpable feeling of something being on the verge of the moment, but exactly what that was on the verge of was the question of the day. Yes, I like the answer as well. All turned to see Magical Storm enter the room. Apologies for the delay, Captain. There's traffic on my way back from the Liberty, but I assure you I'll look into the discrepancy immediately. Very well, Lieutenant, but I still want you to hear this. She looked at Chief Shatter. Please, Chief, continue. The Chief stood by 2 large displays in the room. One screen showing a map of the Camelot metropolitan area, while the second showed the state of California at large. The blue blips you see on the screen are the most commonly reported locations for both Princess Solaire and Princess Sunset. While Solaire's was relatively stable, the one for the teenager went all over the place, as expected. Is this aggregate or based on tower data? Magical asked. Based on tower data, Lieutenant, T-Star replied. Additionally, if we look at the current data, we have the current location of both princesses in green. 4 spots immediately popped up on both maps. One in Eastern Camelot, with 2 more popped up on the California map, both in Horseshoe Bay and one down in Central California. Could that one piece down south be an anomaly? Because I want hard proof otherwise. They all looked to see Prince Define Right standing there. He looked at the mask with a particular intensity none had seen on a man's face before. Truth was that all in the room had thought him to be an adventuring prat that had won the support and heart of the Siren Command officer by bankrolling everything. However, seeing his sudden quiet expression, those present had to revise their thoughts about him. Well, that's not our only criterion for proof, ma'am. We have a number of people in both Princess Solaire and Princess Sunset have been seen around. The mask finished, released by numerous pictures of people that none in the room were familiar with. These are all the people that have both been around. Now, if you subtract the ones that are currently known to be out of town, several images turn gray and minimized, as the ones remaining ones expand to fill the space. These are the ones that are known to be regular associates of the 2 princesses. Why am I seeing all of this hologrammed? And I repeat, remember when this used to be such a simpler time? Divine looked at the faces before him. Some were inexplicable. Like the middle-aged woman with the Gainsborough and violet hair. Others were more obvious, like the well-built man with green hair. Then there was the confusing, such as one that was even a police officer currently seconded to the FBI, while his fiancée was a local distant attorney. Meanwhile, on the other side of the spectrum, there were all the teenagers, the names of at least 2 that were on a backup list for earlier sacrifices. Nothing else, this was a pageant of the bizarre, a menagerie of the perplexing. So, could 2 of them be false alarms and the other 2 real? Why would they? Katana asked him. They don't know about our plans today. As far as they know, you're dead. There's no possible way they could be aware of everything. Maybe it was part of the security program. I did have you assassinate several other members of the family, remember? He told him. Plus, the French and American governments might be a little antsy about foreign representatives murdered while on vacation. Doesn't make for good news. Well, if that's the case, I think we should leverage in case the princesses don't see our way. Does you think, Divine? Absolutely. I need everything in place no later than precisely 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. So do whatever it is you need to do. But I want Sunset Simmer ready to go no later than tonight. Look at Divine's eyes was practically demonic. She will be the culmination of every plan we have made throughout the years, every single bit of stratagem, and stuff like that I and my forebears have made. She will be the key to open the final door of perception. Then the world will be mine. Katana leaned on him. Ours, you mean? He put an arm around her waist. That should have went without saying. And that's why we're together, she said with a tight smile. XL, start lighting up teams to commence capture. I want our best teams focused on the cop in the Spitz and the girls down south, since there's so many in one spot. Take whoever you can into custody. This will give us the maximum leverage we can use. But if he resists and you run risk of entry, take them out. In the end, we only need the princesses. Guitar nodded. I'll make sure they got the best ready. I should send black team out there. No, Divine interrupted. I want the black team on standby, just in case something goes wrong locally. We have all the cards in our favor. But I don't take us one unexpected issue to throw everything at the rack. Those three are by far away the deadliest you have. And in case something happens, I want whatever they come across to be deader than the most hairs Atticrea. On it, Katana told him. Anything else? 2 more things. 1. I wanted to hear Petty Officer Bassdrop sing, correct? Katana nodded. That's correct. She lifted her hand and set her fingers. We'll see how well she performs. A short while later, a girl with green hair and silver eyes walked out, completely naked save for some golden ornaments. She looked like someone's ideal dream. Indeed, some of the females in the room of that persuasion certainly turned their eyes toward her. Are you ready for my song, Captain? She asked, leaning over by Divine to show her wares. Divine, however, wasn't going to take the bait. Not with his fiancée around, at any rate. Yes, Petty Officer. Please sing us a song you're familiar with. She stood up and bowed. I would like to sing first movement of Irurate by Barak Fitroso, if it pleases you. She looked at all present. Why in the nude? Madrigal asked. For the first time, she suddenly realized that though she held a critical position within the Siren chain of command, she hadn't been consulted on anything. Katana had gone through one of her petty officers, who she apparently promoted to chief petty officer, second class no less, for the information, where, for that matter, was her chief. She had been one of Madrigal's trusted personnel with Katana's mechanisms, and though Madrigal had planted transmitters as much intelligence here as he could, she still trusted her chief to make sure that all the critical information went her way. And she's gone then. Lieutenant, Josh said in a husky voice, Irurate is traditionally performed in the nude. You see, it's a story about a woman, an assassin, who was ordered by her king to murder a scandalous knave. But as the wily traitor as ever wary, the assassin comes with a plan to catch him unawares. You see, she basically comes out to perform before her king in the nude, catching the scandalous attention of all, including the heinous rogue. But as she catches his attention, you see, she raised her revolver's hair, pulled out a small needle, then announcing, she struck! Madrigal didn't react fast enough to block the blow, and it sank into her neck. The toxin sank in deeply before she yanked it out. You bitch! She snarled, grabbing her sidearm and firing. The shots rang true, 2 rounds sinking into Bassdrop's heart, killing her instantly. Divine Right sighed and shrugged. So much for the singer, he said. When any other girl cared to assist the endeavor. Katana, meanwhile, focused more on quarry, walked over to where the toxin was beginning to affect Madrigal, kicking her in the face, then shooting her hand and putting away the gun. Katana led her for a suburban scream. To think you have gotten away with it if you only... She paused. No, actually you wouldn't. You would have gotten away with it all. With Toxie taking over, she spat at Katana. You drove us into a path of madness. You don't deserve to be captain. Well, you definitely deserve to be a sacrifice. She held out her hand, and a long knife was placed in her hand. The knife was bloody and stained, looking impure, no longer suitable for anything decent in this world. You see, I had a choice today. Hunt down some girl named Twilight Sparkle and drive this blade into her, sucking up all the lifeblood for our cause. But I didn't really feel up to searching for her. So imagine surprise when I found out one of the girls plotting rebellion against me hasn't had the time to have a man stick with her to have his love spear. And sure enough, you're on the backup list in case I couldn't get a hold of Twilight Sparkle. Means that Lyra Heartstrings and Tapioca get away from this, whoever they are. But it means you get to make history. We're going to stop you, Magic Girl said, not feeling her body much longer. Whatever strength she still had, she looked at her neck and snarled, We're going to stop your plans, whatever it takes. Too bad you won't be around to see your little insurrection lose, Katana teased. Pointing to two of her sirens, she said, Pick her up and follow me. She then looked at Divine and nodded. Of course, I would be honored, my lady. They both looked at each other, the future emperor and empress of the world. It was, after all, their divine right. 10 minutes later, a pre-designed text went off on Vesper and Neuromancer's phones. They didn't have to look at him to know what was going on. They simply looked at each other with eyes filled with shock before holding each other. A few minutes later, Vesper was the first to speak. We're going to avenge Maddie. We're going to stop blasting our monsters. It's the last thing we do. Over, they were loading more weapons into crates. Sunny said like to her sister, Greenie, tell me we're going to win this. Evergreen Pine looked at her sister and nod. Trust me, whatever just happened, I think a ton of blasters made a mistake. Arya looked at Adagio, ignoring the simultaneous chimes of her and her sister's sex signals going off. Pull over. We can't afford to. Pull over! Adagio immediately did. Seized and Sanaa rushed out of the car, over to the edge and vomited. She stayed like down the edge for a second, before holding herself and crying. And finally, Adagio went over to her. She was brave, Sonny. We all loved Maddie, and we know you did too. Sanaa cried, tears soaking her clothing. She was the closest thing I had to a bomb, sis. My sewer. No, my mother was murdered by that bitch! Sanaa wriggled at her sister's grasp and looked at her with tearless eyes. Burgundy irises looking into Adagio's own violet ones. Tears went away, slowly being replaced with calm acceptance and finally fury. We need to go. Sanaa snarled, standing up and making her way back to the car. Sonny's in trouble. Adagio had never seen her sister switch on and off like that before. Sonny, speak to me. What's there to say? Our friend's in danger. We need to rescue her. Stat! Sonny, please, you're my baby sister. No! I'm your youngest sister now. I stopped being a baby sister when the woman that was like, no, where's my mother was murdered? Now I want goddamn revenge. But more than that, I want to save Sonny. Because if I don't do that, the katana wins. And she wins. Sanaa's eyes narrowed into pinpricks of hatred. Then I can't shove the barrel of a Pod 20 down her fucking neck and fire every round until she's nothing but bloody chunks even the vultures won't bother with. 5 minutes later, they were back on the road, driving as fast as they dared. Remember when this whole entire thing was just simple? You know, it was just a simple story. Anybody remember that? Please, let me know in the comments if you missed that.